Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be installing this window Molle panel from Barnes4WD into my XJ. If you're new here, welcome to the channel and don't forget to subscribe. So ever since I first saw the Molle panels, I've wanted to get one. I've been looking at the one from JCR and just it's way out of my price range. I started looking at maybe cutting one and making one myself. So the other day I was looking around online and I found this one here from Barnes4WD for significantly less. Now, one major difference right off the get-go that you're going to tell is the one from Barnes comes as bare steel and the one from JCR does not. Now, I did notice on this one here that where all the squares are, you can see where the start and the stop was for the plasma cutter. It just has a little bit of a lip, but that's easily knocked down with a file or some sandpaper if you need. Now, I did order more than one thing from Barnes, so it came in 2 packages. But it came with this here by itself, just in a flat box, just flat, just like this. And I got all my hardware in the other box, as well as the instructions, and any additional hardware I might need, depending on what year the Jeep is. Now, it is worth mentioning that 2-door models and 4-door models are just a little bit different when it comes to that back window, so I am going to have to do some slight modifications. I think, honestly, all I'm going to have to do is maybe drill one hole in my panel and make a slight bend in one of the brackets. So I'm going to go ahead and get all my edges knocked down and try to get a coat of paint on this. And I'll do the install tomorrow, which is just going to be right now. So the way that this Molle panel mounts, it's actually designed to use existing locations and existing hardware. But let me show you guys the problem with the way the 2-door is set up. This C-pillar here is actually wider in the 2-door model. In the 4-door model, it's just a little bit narrower. And let me show you real quick why that's a problem. So the way that this is actually designed to mount is off of the rear seat bracket here, as well as 2 existing screws that are up here, and this one right here in this corner. Now, as you can see, this obviously isn't going to work for me in this configuration. Now, on a 2-door model, this here is just a little bit thinner, and this will actually fit perfect. If you have a pre-96 model, you will have to do some minor drilling over here in the corner just to give yourself somewhere to mount this bracket to. So with this, I'm going to get a little bit creative and figure out how exactly I want to mount it in here, and I'll show you guys what I come up with. Yeah, wish me luck. So what I'm thinking is there's a hole here in this corner, a hole over here in this corner, a hole up here in this corner, and a hole about 3/4 of the way over here. So if I were to just flip the Molle panel over, that takes that corner mount for the seat bracket and moves it up a ways just enough that I can clear that edge. Now I might have to drill some holes up here to match the mounting locations up top, but I think that'll work just fine. And this corner right here, if I were to put it all in place, lines up right about where my air compressor mounts. I'm going to use my air compressor mount for my far corner mount here, and I think that that'll all work great. I just might have to drill a couple holes. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is just get my bracket mounted on my seat mount so I can see exactly where this sits and what I need to do. And I think it's like an 8mm. Now, I would recommend leaving all of your hardware just a little bit loose. That way you can get it all aligned and then tighten everything down once it's exactly where you want it to be. Bring this up. We will go right in here like so. Oh. So I've only got one corner mounted so far, but honestly, I feel like this is going to be a great fit. Up in this corner here, all I have to do is mount my bracket, and it lines up perfectly with this screw, which we were already supposed to use to mount this up in the first place. Now, moving forward, I might have to make a bracket, or maybe I think I'm just going to drill a hole up there in the corner and use that existing screw, just like we were supposed to in the original configuration. Now, what I am going to have to modify is this bracket right down here. Now, what I think I can do is just modify this a little bit, bend it a little bit, and go right to my air compressor bracket. It lines up perfect. All I got to do is come straight down and it'll be a good solid mounting point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark where I need to drill in my Molle panel here. get it drilled out, and I'll be right back with you guys. So I got my hole drilled, and now I'm going to see how well it fits in that exact spot. Hopefully it fits just fine, and then all I got to do is a little bit of tweaking to this bracket here. Let's get this bracket started right. Oh, look at that. I think that'll fit great. All right, now so far so good. All I got to do is figure out how I'm going to modify this one for right there. Now, if you don't have a homemade air compressor bracket to tie into, you can always tie into the spare tire mount here. It's solid. It's a good solid mount. All you got to do is figure out how you need to tie into it if you do. Otherwise, if you have a 4-door model, this will work great for you. Hands down, every time. Just slap it in there. Easy install. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take their bend and make it a 90. So trying to get the perfect angle didn't quite work out, mostly because you don't want a sharp bend in the metal. You want it kind of be a sweeping bend. If it's sharp, it causes a stress point. That's where it's going to crack and cause problems. I just put a nice gradual bend in it, so hopefully it'll all fit perfect, just like that. The only way I'm going to know is to go ahead and completely mount it. So here we go. So I'm all mounted up, and so far it kind of looks cool. I honestly don't know what I'm going to be able to mount up there. Up here, if anything's loose, it's going to be hitting my kids in the head, but that's all right. I'll just make them wear helmets or something. But no, in all seriousness, I think that this is really cool. It's a good solid mount. I know you can't tell, but I just shook my entire Jeep just by shaking this panel. Now, I do know that I plan on trying to move my inverter up here. I might mount it up here towards the top. That way I'll have room to sit behind the seatbelt. Maybe I'll mount my first aid kit up here towards the front. I think that's a really good idea. It's something that'll be solid, and it can be accessed through the front door if I absolutely had to. Overall, I'm really impressed with this product, in the way it mounts, to the way it's made, everything, and it did not break the bank. Tell me what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. As always, don't forget to subscribe. You can check me out on Instagram at It's Project Venture, as well as the Tickety Talk at It's Project Venture. Thanks for watching. Bedtime. Gotta get my fire extinguisher mounted back up there now. Put it right here, and then see how I fit there. I don't know, maybe I'll move my fire extinguisher over there. Maybe I'll mount my fire extinguisher right to it. I can mount it up here towards the front. That'll be great. I don't know yet. Anyway, signing off.